The Earth's mightiest heroes are about to face their biggest challenge yet in Avengers Doomsday, a showdown that truly began the moment the Mad Titan wiped out half the universe with a single snap. Shocking, right? Since the Infinity Saga ended, keeping up with Marvel has become a full-time job. After Endgame, Marvel Studios released more than a dozen films and nearly 20 Disney Plus shows. It's no wonder many fans feel lost trying to connect every thread. But don't worry, that's what I'm here for. In today's video, I'm breaking down everything you need to know before Avengers Doomsday in under 20 minutes. No filler, no random subplots, just the key storylines that shape where Marvel's universe is heading. So, before Dr. Doom steps onto the stage to shake the multiverse to its core, let's rewind the timeline and trace the road that led us here. It all started with 6 stones, 6 colors, 6 cosmic forces, each carrying unimaginable power. The film opens with Thanos, the Mad Titan himself, finally rising from his throne to collect the Infinity Stones by hand. One by one, he takes the power, space, reality, soul, time, and mind stones, crushing anyone who stands in his way. Across planets, the Avengers try to stop him, but Thanos' mission is clear: restore balance to the universe by wiping out half of all life. And then, after a brutal battle and a desperate strike from Thor that came just an inch too late, Thanos snaps his fingers. Half of the universe turns to dust. Heroes vanish before our eyes. Spider-Man, Doctor Strange, Black Panther, Falcon, gone in seconds. Those who remain are left shattered. Tony feels the guilt of failure. Steve and Natasha cling to hope that's barely alive. Thor spirals into shame for not going for the head. Infinity War ends not with triumph, but with silence. The realization that even heroes can lose. And that loss becomes the spark that fuels everything next. 5 years later, the world has moved on, but the Avengers, they haven't. Steve leads grief counseling sessions, Natasha runs the remnants of a broken team, Tony retreats into family life, hope is fading, until Scott Lang escapes the quantum realm. Scott proposes a wild idea, a time heist. Using Pym particles, they can travel through time, collect the stones before Thanos, and undo the snap. What follows is part heist, part therapy. The Avengers revisit their own history: New York, Asgard, Vormir, each mission filled with nostalgia and closure. They succeed, bringing everyone back. But every victory demands a sacrifice. To claim the Soul Stone, Natasha gives her life. And when Thanos returns through time to attack the Avengers compound, Tony Stark makes the ultimate choice. I am Iron Man. He snaps his fingers, destroying Thanos and his army, and sacrificing himself to save everyone else. The universe mourns a genius, billionaire, playboy philanthropist. Steve Rogers returns the stones and quietly retires, passing his shield to Sam Wilson. With the 2 pillars of the Avengers gone, the world is left in a fragile peace. And somewhere amid that chaos, Loki slips away with the Tesseract, setting in motion a whole new timeline. After Endgame, Wanda Maximoff is consumed by grief. When she visits Sword headquarters, she finds Vision's body dismantled and lifeless. Overwhelmed, she travels to the small town of Westview, the place she and Vision once dreamed of calling home. Then, her pain explodes into magic. She reshapes reality itself, creating a perfect sitcom world where Vision lives again and they have children. Each episode reflects a different decade of TV, masking heartbreak beneath laugh tracks. But illusions can't live forever. Vision begins to realize the truth. The townspeople beg for release, and Wanda is forced to face what she's done, holding an entire town hostage for a fantasy. When she finally lets go, her family disappears, leaving her truly alone. WandaVision turned grief into its villain. By the end, Wanda fully becomes the Scarlet Witch, unlocking the power that will eventually tear the multiverse apart. Before Natasha's endgame sacrifice, her story still had one chapter left: the family she left behind. Set between Civil War and Infinity War, Black Widow dives into Natasha Romanoff's past as a spy, a sister, and a survivor of the Red Room. Here we meet Yelena Belova, sarcastic, grounded, lethal, the perfect mirror to Natasha. Together they confront the twisted program that created the Widows and the guilt that defined Natasha long before she joined the Avengers. While this story doesn't expand the multiverse, it plants an important seed. Yelena taking up her sister's mantle, and the introduction of Valentina Allegra de Fontaine, whose secret manipulations will lead directly to Thunderbolts. If WandaVision was about grief, The Falcon and the Winter Soldier was about legacy. The show explores the world after the blip, chaotic, divided, and searching for heroes. Sam Wilson wrestles with what it means to inherit Captain America's shield. Unsure if he's worthy, he gives it to the government, which promptly appoints a new Cap, John Walker, a decorated soldier with a fragile ego and a dangerous sense of entitlement. Walker's failures force Sam to confront his own doubts. Eventually, he accepts the mantle, not as a super soldier, but as a man who leads through empathy and conviction. Meanwhile, Bucky Barnes continues his path of redemption, confronting the ghosts of his past. By the finale, the world has a new Captain America, one defined not by power, but by principle. Time. It's not a straight line. It's a sacred illusion. After stealing the Tesseract during the time heist, Loki finds himself captured by the TVA, the Time Variance Authority, an organization that monitors and prunes timelines to protect something called the Sacred Timeline. There, Loki discovers that free will itself is an illusion. Alongside his variant, Sylvie, he unravels the truth behind the TVA and meets its mysterious creator, he who remains a variant of Kang. Despite his warnings that killing him would unleash chaos, Sylvie strikes him down, fracturing the sacred timeline and igniting the multiversal war. In Season 2, Loki and his allies struggle to save reality as timelines collapse. In a final act of godhood, Loki sacrifices his freedom to weave the broken timelines together into a living tree, Yggdrasil, becoming the literal god of stories. The trickster who once carved a throne now sits alone at the end of time, holding the multiverse together with his hands. Amid cosmic wars and collapsing timelines, Shang-Chi grounds the MCU in legacy and destiny. Raised by his immortal father, Wen-Wu, wielder of the Ten Rings, Shang-Chi grows up under the shadow of unimaginable power. The rings, forged from alien technology, grant eternal youth and godlike strength. In the final battle, Shang-Chi inherits the rings and defeats the soul-devouring dweller in darkness. Wen-Wu redeems himself through sacrifice, proving that even conquerors can change. But the real revelation comes in the post-credits scene. Wong, Bruce Banner, and Captain Marvel examine the ring's energy signature. Their conclusion? The rings are not of earthly or modern origin. They're ancient, alien, sending out a signal into the cosmos. And somewhere, something answers. The universe doesn't break, it bleeds. Haunted by the events of No Way Home, Stephen Strange meets America Chavez, a girl who can open portals between universes. She's being hunted by Wanda Maximoff. Strange turns to her for help, only to discover that she's the threat, consumed by the dark hold, desperate to reach a universe where her children still exist. Their battles rip through realities. Strange and America encounter alternate versions of heroes, including the Illuminati, who are swiftly annihilated by the Scarlet Witch. In the end, Strange helps America embrace her power. Wanda, realizing the horror she's become, destroys every copy of the Darkhold and buries herself under Mount Wundagore, leaving her fate uncertain. The multiverse of madness proves that grief, when left unchecked, can fracture entire realities. Next, the God of Thunder returns, and this time, he's not alone. Thor, now traveling with the Guardians, learns of a man called Gore the God Butcher, a devout believer turned executioner after witnessing the cruelty of gods. Armed with the cursed Necrosword, Gore wages war on divinity itself. But amid the chaos, Jane Foster returns, now wielding Mjolnir as the mighty Thor. Together with Valkyrie and Korg, they confront Gore at Eternity's Gate. Moved by Thor's compassion, Gore abandons vengeance and uses his final wish to resurrect his daughter, entrusting her to Thor. Love conquers thunder, and the god who once lost everything becomes a father. Wakanda Forever opens in silence, a eulogy for a king and a world still mourning Chadwick Boseman. The nation faces grief, politics, and invasion all at once. Queen Ramonda fights to keep Wakanda's secrets safe, while Shuri wrestles with guilt and rage. Then comes Namor, ruler of Talokan, emerging from the depths to wage war. He's not a typical villain, he's a protector, defending his people from the surface world's greed. When Namor's vengeance leads to tragedy, the death of Queen Ramonda, Shuri finally takes the mantle of the Black Panther. Their climactic duel ends not in death, but in understanding. Shuri spares Namor, forging an uneasy alliance between Wakanda and Talokan. Grief gives way to growth, the essence of what makes the MCU's emotional arcs work. Scott Lang was living his best post-Endgame life, writing books, basking in fame, until his daughter Cassie accidentally pulled their entire family into the quantum realm. There, they meet Kang the Conqueror, a time-wielding tyrant who claims to have destroyed countless universes. He's exiled, furious, and determined to escape. Kang forces Scott to retrieve his multiversal power core, holding Cassie hostage. Ant-Man fights back, destroying the core and trapping Kang, or so he thinks. Before disappearing, Kang warns Scott, "You think I'm the only one." It's a chilling line, a reminder that infinite variants of Kang are out there, and one day they'll all converge. Following the events of Ms. Marvel and WandaVision, Carol Danvers, Monica Rambeau, and Kamala Khan find their powers mysteriously linked. Every time one uses hers, they swap places. Together, they confront Dar-Ben, a Kree zealot whose quantum brand tears holes through space, threatening entire worlds. The trio's chaotic team-ups evolve into true synergy, but the cost is immense. Monica seals a multiversal breach, vanishing into another universe, one filled with mutants. In the post-credits scene, she awakens in a lab, face-to-face with Beast, confirming that the X-Men's world is now officially connected to the MCU. Now for the wild card. Deadpool and Wolverine doesn't just break the fourth wall, it breaks the multiverse itself. After years of studio hopping, Deadpool finally lands in the MCU, only to learn from the TVA that his reality is set to be pruned. So naturally, he decides to fix it himself. He hunts for a new anchor being to stabilize his universe, someone powerful enough to hold everything together. That someone is Wolverine. But this isn't the hero we remember. This Wolverine comes from a dying world, battle-scarred and broken. Together, they face Cassandra Nova, who seeks to obliterate the multiverse using a device called the Time Ripper. In typical Deadpool fashion, chaos ensues, jokes fly, and somehow, against all odds, they save reality. More importantly, the film introduces the idea of anchor being, a single entity whose existence stabilizes its entire universe. And that idea will be vital when Avengers Doomsday arrives. After gods, aliens, and multiversal madness, Brave New World brings the MCU back down to Earth, but not to peace. Sam Wilson, now Captain America, faces a nation divided by fear and politics. The government no longer trusts heroes, and the global race for vibranium has turned deadly. Behind the scenes, the villainous leader manipulates events, exposing President Thaddeus Ross to gamma radiation and turning him into the raging Red Hulk. Sam fights not only monsters, but ideologies, proving that being Captain America isn't about serum or status, but spirit. When the leader is finally captured, he warns, "You think this is the only world? Wait until you have to protect it from the others." That single line sets the stage for Avengers Doomsday. Meanwhile, Valentina De Fontaine has been busy. She assembles a covert strike team of misfits: Yelena Belova, Red Guardian, Bucky Barnes, US Agent, Taskmaster, and Ghost to handle the threats the Avengers can't. But Valentina's motives aren't pure. She's secretly developing a super soldier serum unlike anything before, one capable of giving its users the power of 1,000,000 suns. Her test subject, Bob Reynolds, becomes Sentry, a hero with a dark alter ego known as the Void. When the Void takes control, chaos follows. The Thunderbolts manage to pull Sentry back from destruction, forming an uneasy alliance. In the post-credits scene, a mysterious spacecraft marked with a glowing 4 enters Earth's atmosphere. The Fantastic Four have arrived. In Earth 828, the Fantastic Four are already legends. Explorers turned heroes. Reed Richards, Sue Storm, Johnny Storm, and Ben Grimm use their cosmic radiation-borne powers to protect their world. But their greatest challenge arrives when a cosmic entity, Galactus, marks their universe for consumption. Galactus demands Sue's unborn child, sensing his unimaginable power. The team refuses, risking everything to save their world. In the final confrontation, they banish Galactus to another dimension, but at a terrible cost. Sue Storm dies. Moments later, her child, Franklin Richard, revives her, revealing abilities that could rewrite creation itself. In the post-credits scene, Sue leaves Franklin for a moment. When she returns, she finds Dr. Doom calmly playing with her son. And with that, the true architect of Avengers Doomsday steps into the light. Across more than a decade of stories, we've seen gods fall, universes collide, and timelines unravel, all leading here. The multiverse isn't a theory anymore. It's alive, fragile, chaotic, and about to face its greatest threat. Every tragedy, every rebirth, and every decision since the Infinity Saga has been steering us toward one man, Dr. Doom. Now you're caught up, from the snap that broke reality to the forces preparing to reshape it. This is the complete story leading into Avengers Doomsday. So, which of these stories do you think set the stage the best? And which moment made you the most excited for what's next? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And while you're there, hit the like button, subscribe to Silver Screen Hero, and check out the next video here.